morning, everybody, and welcome to the GSM's Pride, Las Vegas. That's where we're headed. This one's going to be a second Bronco Off-Roadeo. This time it's just myself and my wife going. So we will show you what's planned in Vegas and on the rodeo and whatnot. So I'll see you all in a bit.
All right, guys, we've actually reached our first technical part of trail. We're actually going to be taking the red arrow to the right. Once you come up to a convoy procedure, like Eric said, we're going to follow. This starts to get pretty technical pretty quickly. Now, line choice, tire placement, and your speed all is factors here, so we're going to take it nice and slow. We will start to use those hero switches and those goat modes as we need them.
So here's the funny part. So we get to the hotel. Bear in mind, they didn't know much about it. So I go to concierge. Concierge tells us that, yeah, they know all about it, but unfortunately there is no shuttle to the location. So they give me coordinates to the location, which at first I'm like, okay, so I'm like, can you give me like an address? And they said, well, unfortunately there is no address. It's in the middle of Mount Potosi. So like, okay, so what do we do now? So then they said, well, we got two choices. You can either Uber or you can rent a car. So I was like, well, if it's in the middle of nowhere, I don't want to Uber because maybe the car that we're going could get stuck and I don't want to put that. So we go rent a car. So anyway, we head up there. We start using this, the GPS, which did take us to the location, but it literally turned us off the highway down a dirt road for about 5 miles. And literally, all of a sudden, we appeared, and then there's these Bronco gates, which was phenomenal, which you'll see. Their question was, they said, be there 30 minutes before opening time, which opening time was 8. The gates were locked. And we literally had to stay there in the cold for about 30 minutes.
So here we are at base camp. I guess we're a little early because the gates are closed. It says behind me, as you can see, that it's 8 a.m. start. And they said be here 30 minutes before, and we're 45 minutes before, and it's still closed. But look at that cool view behind me.
Now, again, it's always worth it because the Bronco Off-Roaders are awesome, but I didn't really prepare very well because I thought, you know what, we're in Nevada, it's going to be warm, it's going to be good. So I'm in shorts and t-shirt. It rained and it was absolutely freezing cold the whole time. So when you first get there, obviously we register and everything was cool there. And you know, one thing I will say is I'll give credit to Ford, they really do set this up well. Obviously, even the staff weren't expecting the rain.
Can you believe it? It's absolutely hammering down in Las Vegas, of all places. It's raining. We're having to wait a little bit for the first wave because of the rain, but we're waiting.
So anyway, we kind of had to shift some stuff around. So they kind of did the first section second and the second section first. Because obviously we're trying to keep out of the weather as much as possible. But the first area where the Ford has this big canopy and they tell you a little bit about the history, some of the charities they're involved in. You get to put your pin up on where your location was so you can kind of see where everyone's coming from. And actually there's only one other pin there for St. Louis, which was kind of cool because the people that were at there were physically there at the same time as us. So there's 2 people from St. Louis, which was kind of neat. And then that was also where they fed us and whatnot, but that was really more of an introduction, and then we got to go out in the car itself. I've been lucky enough now to go on 2 off-rodeos. One was in Austin, Texas, one was in Vegas. Austin, Texas was absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure some of you have seen my footage on that. But this one was a little more fun but scary at the same time because you go up Mount Potosi, which is about 8,500 feet. It's at the actual mountaintop's 10,500 feet, but we got to go about 8,500 feet above sea level, which is a pretty steep mountain. And it's kind of scary because the roads that are up there, they're basically built from a old Boy Scouts trail. Which you walk on, not nearly really drive on. So it's literally a cliff this way, and you're dropping down 8,500 feet every time. So it's kind of scary, but as you can see, it was fun, but scary at the same time. So here's the cool thing about the guides. They actually even though they know how dangerous it is, they don't make you feel uncomfortable. Actually, when we got back, which is kind of funny, I actually spoke to the guy that was telling me to stop.
Hang tight for 1 sec.
When you feel that, you get a ravine on your right side.
Yeah, I know.
That's when that's going to start sliding. So you feel that, you stop. So you keep pushing through it to hope it's going to start to get traction. It's just going to keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you. That's what we're like we did there. We backed up.
Yeah.
We're way offline right now, so we're going to back up. We're going to come over here.
Okay.
He said, just so you know, I didn't say it right then and there, but because I would have freaked you out. But you were about this far away from going down an 8,500 foot drop. So as you can see, they are good at what they do by doing that. But so to answer the question of how was I feeling, at first I felt pretty good until the car started to slide like this. And then you realize you have no traction, you better stop, because if you don't, you look down, and I look over at my wife, and there's literally a cliff edge going down. So
Copy.
Really?
the good thing is with the Bronco, and I do own one, as you can see, and you do feel very safe in it, and you really feel like you can do anything in it. But you also need to know its limits and realize that you're on a slippery surface, 8,500 feet in the air, and that thing could go down there very simple and easy. So you need to really trust the spotter. So yes, there was some fear at the time when I'm like, when he's going, stop, 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 I'm like, okay, this is kind of serious now, because if he's yelling that loud, there's probably a problem. This one showed me more limits with the vehicle because it was more treacherous, it was more technical, and you really had to pay attention to what the car is capable of, because if you made a mistake, it was a lot more devastating than if you made a mistake in Austin. Okay, you went off the track, who cares? If you went off the track here, you potentially could die. Actually, the favorite part about it, which is very ironic, was the scary part where you realize that that vehicle is made for the road, but it really can go up a mountain. And the part where, you know, we go off and we could have slipped down the mountain there, but all it took was the right line for the tires to make it up that rock. That was the most fun to me, because I'm realizing then, okay, the vehicle was losing it, but if I just go along the right track, the capability of the vehicle is really endless at that point. And you know, a lot of it was, I asked the question to the instructor, what's the most gradient before the car could technically go over in? He said about 30%. Well, I'm telling you now, as you saw in those videos, most of those videos are about 15%. So now that shows you twice that the car can go without tipping over. And my wife and I were both sitting there going, this is only 15%. Imagine what 30% looks like. That's insane. So that's what really was the most fun part to me. You know, Nevada as a whole, you kind of always assume just desert and really nothing to see. But let me tell you, when you get to go up those mountains and realize how mountainous it is, it's really breathtaking, those views. Those views are absolutely phenomenal. I'll be honest with you, I've seen those mountains in the background going to Vegas. Like I said, I've been there a few times, but you just can't realize how crazy this earth is, that there are, and I'll be honest with you, and this comes from a British guy, how crazy the United States is, that you can literally visit multiple countries and terrains on one continent, basically. If you get the opportunity to go to a Bronco Off-Roadeo, I'd highly recommend it. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Bronco owner and I work for Ford. I'm saying this because they really have thought about this, and the car is definitely worth the wait. If you have an opportunity, I would highly recommend you do them. The takeaway of it is really, you'd be surprised what capabilities vehicles have as a general sense, and also it will also build your confidence when you're actually driving those vehicles on those roads, because you realize, okay, this is really nothing for that vehicle. So the real takeaway is that you gain knowledge on that vehicle and every other vehicle that would go on those off-roads. So there we are, another Bronco Off-Roadeo. So I know you're probably sitting there going, oh, we're kind of bored of looking at the Broncos, but come on, really? You can't be bored of Broncos. You know, they're really exciting cars. It took us a long time to get these cars in, so we're really excited about those cars specifically. But again, the Off-Roadeo was an absolute phenomenal event. If you have got a Bronco if you do have a Bronco on order, I would highly recommend you go and do those Bronco Off-Roadeos. I've done 2 now, and you've all seen you saw the one in Austin. I'm going to give you my insight a little bit. My insight would be that the Vegas one was better. Not in so much the way they set it out, but just that I think it was more challenging. There was a lot more to do, a lot more difficult. Now we kind of got caught up in some weather there, which was kind of weird. I've been to Vegas 6 times, and guess what? I've never seen it rain ever, and it was freezing cold and it rained. So that was a new one for me. But it kind of made things a little bit different. But again, the Vegas one, I personally, so far, would recommend. I'm going to try and go to all 4 if I can, because I think they're just really good, and it also helps me with my Bronco, learning off-road and stuff like that. But absolutely phenomenal event. You know, Ford did an absolutely killer job of that whole situation. You know, I know there's a lot of people frustrated right now about Broncos not necessarily coming in time, but trust me, it's worth the wait. It really is worth the wait. It's absolutely awesome. So congratulations to Ford for doing that. Again, if you need any more information or want anything on the Bronco itself, please hit me up, because I have plenty of information on the Bronco, and also I have a lot of footage and all that kind of stuff for the Bronco specifically. Next week I'm probably going to be bringing out my Bronco. Hopefully it'll be pretty much done when I need it to be, so we'll be pretty good there. But again, I really hope you enjoyed a lot of that footage for the Bronco Off-Roadeo. It is an absolutely amazing event. I love it, and I'm going to keep trying to go. And actually, my wife, surprisingly, really enjoyed it, so that was good. Over on this side, I'm going to put up a video to a link. On this side, I'm going to put my subscription, and in the top corner there, I'm going to put up a subscription for the Lou Fuse Ford page. As always, push that notification button, like the page, put some comments down below, subscribe, and I'll see you all next week.